welcome to another edition of UFO Video Addicts. Before we get started, like I said before, until my subscriber numbers come up, I'm going to have to start asking people to please like, share, and subscribe these videos because apparently that's what has to be done if I want to increase my subs and, all of the other YouTubers out there with a lot of subscriptions and a lot of people interacting with the videos. That's what they do. So I'm going to have to start doing that. But anyways, this video, look, you can see I have a lot of tabs up here to go through. Some of them are just real short because it's something that I just recently came across. But I think it's important enough to mention. But, it could be nothing. But I've said this before, whatever the military says, that they're doing, it's always a cover story. There's always something else going on. But anyways, yeah, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with UFOs. It's just, yeah, something, that's going on behind the scenes. And I think, yeah, I mean, I could be completely wrong. This is just my opinion, but something seems to be going on. And I'm not the only one who's suspicious. But anyways, yeah, apparently NATO is beginning their largest air exercise in history. Airlines have warned it could disrupt air travel. NATO will begin its largest ever air exercise on Monday. The series of aerial maneuvers being coordinated by Germany is intended to show the strength and unity of the Western military alliance set against the backdrop of the Ukraine war. Yeah, now, with all of this talk about, our visitors finally revealing themselves. Again, I have no idea if this has anything to do with it, but there's something going on. Here, check out this, all of these Twitter links that show all of this military hardware being seen all over the world. We got stealth bombers flying over Minnesota. Anyways, I don't think we need to see all of that. Also, here we have activity, Osprey activity in California. And, I'll put the links to all of these in the description so you can check them out yourself because, yeah, like I said, this is just my opinion. Of course, I could be wrong. So you can check out these links yourself and come to your own conclusions. Here, this is in Philadelphia, military control. I got these photos here. I think these are just these photos, but then here's some video here. Filmed yesterday, armored vehicles moving through our city. You're not telling me this is simply a national military training exercise, and this is in Philadelphia. There's that. I think here's another one. Yeah, this is just the same thing photo, an article. Sounds strange or massive military movements being reported in multiple states across the U.S. Here, remember I told you guys you would know how close we are based on where Iraq is in the process of reinstatement, their IQD on the Forex. I have no idea what that means. You find it odd that 27 states are now active with military units. What happens on July 1st? This should not be surprising to any of you. Tanks and troops deploying inside USA and Canada. Citizens in many areas of the USA are started with tanks, troops, assault aircraft are being deployed on the streets throughout the USA. This is from Saturday, June 17th. And then this one here, I think this is, these are tanks. Major movement of tanks. These are headed east. Yeah, so there's definitely something going on, right? If the military says that it's, these NATO exercises, God, I'm not buying that. I think something else is going on. Now, I don't know if it could have anything to do with this. Again, this is not necessarily UFO related, but this is something that I think is important enough to mention. Alert warning, alert. We have arrived at the 40-degree mark pole shift. Now, this guy is saying, yeah, that we've, essentially reached a point of no return. The magnetic north has been moving south for a long time, and it's actually been accelerating. So let me just play a little bit of what this guy's saying.
We're there, and we are now entering uncharted territory. As you can see, the 40-degree mark and the current day's pin. And based on those experiments that we have done, which suggest that when we enter the weak field lines, which is what the 40-degree mark represents, we should see, an uptick in the progressive movement of the magnetic North Pole, albeit it should be accelerating at this point. It's currently, in the last half a month, or since the first of this month, travelled 3.16 miles. So pretty much doing what it did, the previous half a month.
Now, it doesn't mention in this video, but in the next video, I will post another video about this, magnetic pole flip. But the Earth, routinely goes through pole flips, right? It generally, I don't know if he mentions it here, but it does in the other video that I'll post in my next video. It mentions it. It happens like every 250 to 300,000 years, right? The poles do flip. But the last time the poles flipped was like 780,000 years ago. So we're definitely way past the time, for it to flip. For whatever reason, it just hasn't flipped, as usual. So, maybe now we're coming to it. I don't know. You can, of course, the link to this will be in the description, so you can check it out. But anyways, let me go on to this next video here. Oh yeah, so now this is the John Leonard Walson video that I had mentioned in my last post, where this guy somehow was able to create a telescope that allowed him to capture what he claims are gigantic spaceships. Yeah, he says that they're hiding in Orion's belt or in other star constellations. And he says that these things are like 2.5 light years away, and they're locked into Earth's orbit. I'm really having trouble wrapping my my brain around that, how he came to those conclusions. But there's no doubt, that he's definitely captured something. Now, some people have also said that these are all hoaxes, that all he's doing is taking out of focus images of the space station, which again, I'm not buying that either, because I think this is from Jose Escamilla's Interstellar, and I believe in this. I don't think it's in this clip, but I know they do show a comparison of what the space shuttle actually looks like. And yeah, these are not the space shuttle. These are some type of giant structures out in space. And in this little clip, I'm going to show you how this thing actually moves. Oh, you know what? Yeah, this thing actually moves. Check this out.
It takes an enormous amount of energy. What kind of alloys are they made of that allows them to transform and retract at these velocities in deep space?
Did you see that movement, right? The space shuttle cannot do that. And I think there's another example here also of these things moving. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's this one here also. He shows some movement in this one. Yeah, I think you could kind of see that there was, it did sort of expand. I thought it would show sooner, but anyways, link will be in the description, and yeah, definitely check out. Yeah, this is just like a 5 minute clip, but Jose Escamilla does an entire documentary on it about this guy John Leonard Watson, an inventor and amateur astronomer. John Watson has made an apparatus that, when connected to a telescope, allows him to film starships in deep space. So yeah, check that out. Okay, now this is a video about the time in 1952 when UFOs did show up. Again, some of these debunkers say, if there's aliens out there, why don't they land on the White House lawn? Well, apparently they did show up on the White House lawn. I mean, in the sky at least. They didn't show up on the lawn, but they did fly around the Capitol.
Captain Roy James, who felt that unusual weather conditions could have caused the unknown radar targets. Within minutes, both radar centers at National Airport and the radar at Andrews AFB were tracking more unknown objects. Albert M. Chop, the press spokesman for Project Blue Book, arrived at National Airport and, due to security concerns, denied several reporters' requests to photograph the radar screens. By this time, the radar center was detecting unknown objects in every sector. At times, the objects traveled slowly. At other times, they reversed direction and moved across the radarscope at speeds calculated at up to 7,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, now here, I believe this is the actual video footage from that time. I'm not too sure if this is a reconstruction or not.
Captain John McHugo, the flight leader, was vectored towards the radar blips but saw nothing, despite repeated attempts. After midnight on July 27th, USAF Major Dewey Fournette, Project Blue Book's liaison at the Pentagon, and Lieutenant John Holcomb, a United States Navy radar specialist, arrived at the radar center at National Airport. They told him that a slight temperature inversion was present over the city, but Holcomb felt that the inversion was not nearly strong enough to explain the good and solid returns on the radar scopes. Fournette relayed that all those present in the radar room were convinced that the targets were most likely caused by solid metallic objects. Civilian aircraft also reported glowing objects that corresponded to radar blips seen by Andrews radar operators. As on July 20th, the sightings and unknown radar returns ended at sunrise. This condition can cause radar signals to bend and give false returns. At the event, Samford stated that the visual sightings over Washington could be explained as misidentified aerial phenomena such as stars or meteors, and unknown radar targets could be explained by temperature inversion.
Yeah, so this, according to these bullshitters, temperature inversion. Anyways, that's as much as I want to play of that. Let's go to this other link here. Yeah, so now this is kind of strange. I have no idea, if this is real. Yeah, it could be. There could be a reasonable explanation for this, but all I'm doing is just showing you what I found. Like I said, I provide the links so that you can check it out yourself and draw your own conclusions.
Nós estávamos andando aqui na praia, na Ilha Comprida, e olha o que a gente acha. Tropeça.
Tinha só a ponta do dedo para cima.
Tinha as 3 pontinhas do dedo para cima. Aí a gente brincou falando, é uma mão humana. Aí batemos uma água.
Não é humano mesmo.
Anyways, this is as much as that. I want to play. Link will be in the description. Let's go to this other. Oh yeah, so now this is just a photo that I found. Found browsing X. Help me identify, debunk. Gives me an odd sinking feeling. Yeah, and now with stuff like this, because of because we have AI, it's real hard to say that these are authentic, because I've posted other photos of like those Bigfoots that were going around, and yeah, I think those were all created by AI. So this could be the same thing. I have no idea. I mean, I think it looks real, but those AI photos of those Bigfoots look real too, or look credible. I have no idea. All I know is I'll put the link in the description, and again, people can draw their own conclusions. But look at the eyes, completely black, very humanoid looking. Look at the ears. And if this is real, and this is an actual photo of like some type of humanoid, one thing I want to point out again, right? No life support system, right? This little guy, again, if it's real, seems to be breathing our air, seems to be acclimated to our gravity. But anyways, check out, let's go to this next one. Okay, so now this is a document. I had posted in my previous video about John Lear, talking about how there was an agreement with Eisenhower that that allowed, one of these species to abduct our citizens in exchange for their advanced technology. Well, here is supposedly the actual document. The terms of the agreement between President Eisenhower and extraterrestrial biological entities, non-human intelligence at Kirtland Air Force Base, July 18, 1954, as discussed in a leaked Defense Intelligence Agency document from 1989. Now, this is kind of hard to read, but the preceding diplomatic treaty was drafted by the director of the Majestic 12 Operations and a Joint Committee of Extraterrestrial Visitors and representative of the U.S. Diplomatic Corps as a statement of intent. It is ratified and signed at Kirtland Air Force Base, Texas on July the 18th, 1954 by President Dwight D. Eisenhower and an individual on behalf of the EBEs. Each subsequent holder of the excising office has continued to uphold the intent of this policy towards these aliens. Beyond this statement of intent, basic agreement has been reached on the following negotiated issues. The extraterrestrials will refrain where and when possible from open displays of their presence to the public at large. The extraterrestrials will submit substantiating proof and listing of all persons contained from among the public at large or that have been removed from the earth for purposes of contact or cultural exchange. In no case shall anyone abducted by the EBEs be subject to knowing harm or kept against their will far longer than 48 hours. So you can take them against their will for 48 hours, but that's it. The extraterrestrials will avoid any willful contact with representatives of the public news media or any private investigators of the UFO phenomenon, groups of writers dedicated to the same intentions. The U.S. government will provide through the Defense Logistic Agency's reauthorization, I think that is, and marketing services, such items as needed for the personal comfort of those visiting EBEs who may be sequestered in its care. The U.S. government will provide a section of the Majestic headquarters based in Nevada as an embassy command for the EBE visitors and equip it to their needs. Any exchange of technical, scientific, or social information will be conducted item for item and in such manner as to assure that both parties have equal gain from the process. Excerpts for many fascinating details which are available under separate cover through either Operation Majestic or the Defense Intelligence Agency's Office of Counterintelligence. This concludes the assessment of the situation and statement of position section of this preliminary briefing paper. Now, supposedly these are the people, they actually named some of the people who attended: Bill Wilkerson, McDonald, John Alexander, Bert Steberbein, Hal Prudhoff, Jack Hawk, Ed Speakman, Bill Souder, Jake Stewart, Ralph Freeman. These are from Lockheed. So yes, the only name I recognize on here is Hal Prudhoff. Let's see what it says down here. We the people, we called the people in from, there's also anecdotal evidence from a CIA whistleblower that the NIH disregarded the agreement towards the end of the Eisenhower administration, causing Eisenhower to threaten to invade Area 51. Yeah, remember, John Lear, said it was a double cross, that they didn't uphold their end of the treaty. We called the people in from MJ12 from Area 51 and S4, but they told us that the government had no jurisdiction over what they were doing. I want you and your boss to fly out there. I want you to give them a personal message. I want you to tell them, whoever is in charge, I want you to tell them that they have this coming week to get into Washington and to report to me. I think this is Eisenhower talking. And if they don't, I'm going to get the First Army from Colorado. We're going to go over and take the base over. I don't care what kind of classified material you got. We're going to rip this thing apart. It is also probably why Eisenhower chose his farewell speech in January 1961 to warn the American public about the dangers of the military-industrial complex. Two things to note. One of the terms of the agreement is for the NIH to give detailed listings of the people they abduct and promise to return them after 48 hours. It was this part of the agreement the NIH chose to disregard. I believe that led to Eisenhower's threat to invade Area 51, where the terms state the embassy was to be located. I'm not sure what the resolution was or if there was even one. The document now has a curious purple line down the side of page 44, which is the agreement. It wasn't there last week. I have no idea what that refers to. But anyways, link with it in the description. You want to check that out. Now also, remember I also posted that video about that fireman who worked at a facility in the Antarctic, talking about how that that facility was some type of weapon, and that I think he mentioned that he's seen lasers. Well, check this out. This is from United States Antarctic Program, the South Pole Station webcam. Now, I actually found this yesterday, and here it says refreshing in 9-10 seconds. I mean, it seems to be that it's a live cam, but if it's a live cam, again, how is this clip continuing to show? Because this is the exact same image that that was showing when I first went to this, and I actually took a screenshot just in case it changed. But yeah, this down here, it says, you can see from the notes that this is June 18th, 2023, 12:24 p.m. UTC. It seems to be a live cam, but this green line has been showing, so I don't know, maybe this is just a glitch. I mean, this is definitely from the usap.gov video clips and maps. SP webcam. I think SP stands for South Pole. Yeah, so I have no idea whether this is a glitch in the webcam, or is this, actually showing some type of laser and they're just looping the same image. Not too sure about that. Anyways, link will be in the description. Let's go to this one. Okay, so now this video here is, the actual Dr. Greer's National Press Club events, his other disclosure project. Yeah, Disclosure 2.0, he's calling it. But I'm pretty sure this is his third time doing this. And what's his name? There was another guy that did the citizens hearing, Stephen Bassett. Stephen Bassett did the citizens hearing on disclosure, and he also had 2 of these events. But anyways, in this part, Greer talks about the time Philip Corso actually communicated, with this extraterrestrial delegate or something like that, and they had asked him to stop shooting down their UFOs or their craft. So let me just play a little bit of this.
And he was a colonel. He was involved in these projects. There was an ET craft that came in daytime and came down over the range. He went out there with a couple of his guys. And this craft, it would be 3-dimensional and then vanish like a heat wave, like Stephen Digna explained, and then back again. Finally, it stayed. There was an ET that emerged extraterrestrial biological entity. And he said that the ET was communicating, please don't hit us with these radar. Can you get these radar systems out? You know, and was asking, because they were operational, of course, at that time they were operational at Roswell. And being a brash young, you know, Air Force colonel, and he said, "What's in it for me?" And the ET says, "A new world if you can take it." Now I was one. Now, you know, I have.
Let me just up to here. You know, think about what he's implying here, right? If this ET is asking Colonel Corso to stop knocking out our craft, right? Would you would have to conclude that it was something that happened on a regular basis, right? It's not something that's happening to visitors. You know, I've used this analogy before, right? If you looked out your window and you saw your neighbor across the street coming in and out of their homes, right, on multiple occasions, day after day, right, would you conclude that they're visiting, or would you conclude that they live there, right? Again, it's if there is a species that's just visiting, right, from some far away distant planet or from, you know, some other dimension, right? Visiting implies something that doesn't happen often, right? Whereas, you know, if you're leaving and coming back home on multiple occasions, and you know, and in that process, every now and then, right, you know, you get rocks thrown at you. I think you would have to conclude that the people live here. They're not visitors. But anyways, yeah. So this is the entire event. Like I said, you know, when he's talking about him, and actually someone, you know, another person is talking about, you know, some of these crafts are being used to smuggle drugs, and even in this thing, right? He claims that all of these non-human entities are all benevolent. That's just such nonsense, you know. Because here, based on this, you know, if they're kidnapping us and you know and they broke the treaty and they don't care, yeah, they're not benevolent, right? They're malevolent. But anyways, let's go to this video here. Now, this is from our Fugal News. Now, I think this is he's interviewing a second person that that saw the light in Vegas. So let me just play a little bit of this.
In your yard, stalking a bird, it'll take a couple steps and then stop, and its tail will move, and it'll take a couple steps and stop, and its tail. That's how they move. They like moved, like animated, like claymation, and then they stopped and froze.
Yeah, let me just jump ahead here.
Right? Either way, it's creepy.
Yeah, it was really creepy. That's what freaked me out, is like they didn't have any flashlights, and they're walking up a dirt road towards us in the middle of nowhere, literally 2 hours out on this dirt road up in the mountains, which is very unheard of. Like, I'm 50 years old, I've been going out there, never had that happen ever. And you're not allowed to ride dirt bikes out there because it's a wildlife area, so it was very strange. So I grabbed my protection, and he's looking through the scope, and he kind of starts freaking out and panicking and telling me to be quiet, not to even walk, because just walking on the gravel was making noisy. And he's not one to freak out. He really doesn't care about too much. So that drew my adrenaline up a little notch or two, you know? And I was like, well, what do you see? He's like, don't move, just be quiet. You know, one of those things. And I'm like, what's he doing? So,
yeah, so now, this is the second person who claims to have seen these 8-foot extraterrestrials. And this guy's saying, you know, they walk like claymation. But anyways, that's as much as I want to play of that. Link will be in the description. Let's go to this article here. Ex-CIA agent deathbed confessions on UFOs, visited Area 51 and saw living aliens. Let's see. There is a long list of officials who have spent a long time in the U.S. Defense Department claiming to have seen the alleged crashed UFOs and non-human beings that supposedly had been the passengers of those craft. In this list comes a deathbed confession of a man claimed to be a former CIA officer. He said to have seen living extraterrestrials and alien spacecrafts secretly stored in the mysterious Area 51 U.S. Air Force Base. The anonymous interview is a film by award-winning director Jeremy Corbell. Let's see. Here, the 77-year-old alleged former CIA went on camera, checked the video at the bottom, and testified to the renowned UFO researcher Richard Dolan. The man was scared of disclosing his real name, so in the interview, he is dubbed the Anonymous. He even never used his actual name during his service time in the CIA. During the interview, the man told Dolan that he had not much time left as he was facing kidney failure issues. His story was first introduced by investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe on June 6, 1998 on the radio show Coast to Coast AM under the pseudonym Agent Cooper. He was drafted into the U.S. Army and sent to the Signal Training Center in the eastern United States. Later, he attained the position of cryptographer in the U.S. Air Force. He worked for the CIA from 1957 to 1960 and described his work inside a CIA group based in a southeastern military base where he analyzed film, photographs, and other physical evidence collected from eyewitnesses of extraterrestrial craft and beings. Linda interviewed Cooper on 11 hours of audio tape in the summer of 1998 before government agents warned him not to follow through with further interviews. She shared one portion of the audio which concerned the 1959 briefing of President Eisenhower and Vice President Nixon about UFOs, human abduction, animal mutilation, which Eisenhower indicated he was already familiar with. It says his most startling claim was that he had been escorted into Area 51 to view a variety of UFOs that the U.S. military reportedly discovered. These allegedly included a flying saucer that crashed and landed in July 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico. But it is at the center of many alien conspiracy theories which allege that the recovered alien craft has visited Earth. They were alien craft, including the Roswell UFO and live aliens. The conspiracy theory were compounded by the fact that the U.S. government did not acknowledge the base existed until 2013. I guess I had it right, 2013. Other theories suggest that aliens from the crashed UFOs are secretly kept there as well. The man told Dolan that President Dwight Eisenhower had warned of a threat of Earth being invaded, so he and his superiors at the CIA were allowed inside Area 51 to report back to the president. He claimed the two men were also taken to the alleged S4 facilities southwest of Area 51, where they observed live extraterrestrials. It took us 13 or 15 miles south of S4, and like different garage door openings, and in these garage door openings, they had like different saucer crafts. The very first one had Roswell craft, and it was kind of crashed up, but apparently every alien that was in a died except for a couple. Every alien that was in a died except that's written wrong there. The Roswell craft was really strange because it looked like really heavy aluminum foil. We could walk next to it, and the whole thing probably weighed 150 to 300 pounds. Could they tell what the source of power was of the craft? Asked Dylan. Yeah, it was like a reverse gravitational thing of some kind. In fact, I got the mathematical code for reversing gravity in a 3x5 card. I guess there are different types of grays and so on. How did you see the evidence? At S4, we viewed the autopsy film, and then the colonel said, what we've got in here is we're interviewing a gray alien. I thought we had no idea we were going to see the real thing. All we saw was a film. What did this gray alien look like? Could you describe him a little bit? It didn't look human as far as the skin tone and basically the shape of it and the size, how its head size compared with a normal human. For example, the brain was kind of a little bigger. It's kind of a bit bigger, and the nose was small, very small, and the ears were just like holes, and the mouth was very small. In mid-1947, the United States Air Force balloon crashed, whatever, that's bullshit story. Yeah, so I think this is the...
Excuse me, we need to start with you. Would you please swear in the witness?
Miss Howell and gentlemen, if you would please stand and repeat after me.
So this, I believe, is from the...
I do hereby affirm
Yeah, the citizens hearing.
that I will tell the truth.
Anyways, yeah. So this, you know, I'll put the link to this article, and in it you'll see this clip. But here's the part where Dolan is talking to this guy, and like, yeah, this is from Bassett's citizens hearing. Anyways, this video is getting kind of long. Let me just yeah. So that's it. Anyways, yeah. If you like things like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Show your appreciation for the time and effort I put into these videos. That's going to be it. Until next time, take care.